Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to chat a little bit about qualifying and pre qualifying your customers. It's an important topic. We have talked about it before.
Yeah,
It was episode 80 something, 85 maybe.
I think
We'll
it
link it
was.
up
Yeah,
in
I
show
believe it's
notes
85, yeah.
if you want to go back and look at it, because this is going to be a little different. We gave very concrete tips in that one for pre qualifying. This one, it was in our free Facebook group,
Yeah, I just posted.
Landscaping Business Owners.
Yep, I just posted the question just the other
Yeah.
day. So
So if you're in there, you might have seen it. So I kind of thought there was a lot of really good answers, and so just wanted to run through them. So.
yeah, and I just feel it's so important, and with everybody just getting slammed with so much work here this year, it's more important than ever to be pre-qualifying your customers before you're going out wasting your time. Like we had this issue, maybe not as bad as it is now, but in the past I've run out and I would pretty much go visit every single customer and not pre-qualify them, and I'd waste so much time. I'd do a design and all that stuff, and then it'd get zero for the job. I wouldn't get anything for the job.
Time waster.
Yeah.
Ooh, before we get too deep, though, we didn't go over housekeeping.
Oh.
We have just a few things to chat about, not a whole bunch. It is June. Woohoo! Summer's already here. Can't believe the year is half over. That's crazy. We're actually going to be on vacation most of this month. We are getting the heck out of town for a number of reasons. And very importantly, $1 Million Landscaper is our birthday in June. I don't remember exactly what day. We could probably go back and look it up. But we launched $1 Million Landscaper 3 years ago this June.
Awesome.
I know, and it has been a little bit of a crazy ride. You all are business owners, and so you know what it's like. And so for this to be our first 3 years in a completely different business realm, I can tell you right now, if you want to start an online business, it is completely different from owning a landscaping business. We have learned a lot. We have learned a lot of lessons the hard way. We have invested a lot in ourselves as far as educational courses and everything. So those things, I think, are kind of the same. That is kind of universally applicable to no matter what kind of business you're doing. So just a little, I don't know, little nugget of wisdom there. Well, you have to invest in yourself. Because if you want to learn all of your business lessons on your own, it's going to take a very long time, and it's going to be really hard.
Yeah, you can go spend all the time on YouTube and Google and searching the interwebs, and it's going to just take a long time just to find and do these different things, just make it all come together.
Yes,
So
because
we took it upon ourselves to find some people that have done that and have created these courses to kind of speed the process up along. So
yes, so I don't know what else I want to say about that.
We're just excited. That's our third year in business doing this, so we just love helping everyone and love sharing the knowledge.
Is it weird to say I like it more than I thought I would? Not
is.
that I didn't think I would like it, but it has been very rewarding.
It is. I enjoy it quite a bit. It feels good to hear people just remark about the podcast and the courses that we have, and just hearing how it's helped.
And we're not just saying this because we have huge egos. Like, we genuinely like helping people, and I take it seriously when people reach out to us and tell us their story of they're just starting their business, or they're taking over a business because a loved one passed away, or they've been in business for a long time but they just haven't been able to get it together. I just want people to know that we genuinely take that to heart, and that is why we're here. It's because we don't want to have people have to suffer along through it any longer than they have to. Their help is available, and get it.
There is, and just
whether it's from us or somewhere else.
Just seek it out.
Don't struggle. You don't have to.
Yeah, we did it too long. We struggled too long, and it's not worth it.
Yeah,
we could have been way further ahead in our business than what we were.
Don't be stubborn Midwesterners. That's what we are.
Pretty much.
So, yes, and we're learning that lesson still, because even with this online business, it is hard to get out of that, entrepreneurial, I'll just figure it out and do it all myself mode.
And if you kind of look into, I'm kind of getting off topic what we initially started here from, but if you look at what we started to do in our landscape business, you start doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
You're trying to do every single job, no matter if it's, you don't have a niche, you're not, doing specific things. You're trying to do anything, just get money in.
Yeah.
And we've kind of done the same thing. We try to get out there and do every single thing, especially myself. I try to create the website.
When I'm talking about a stubborn Midwesterner, I'm mostly referring to you.
Well, yes, but so we try to do everything ourselves, and there's a balance in there. And this is the same thing in your landscape business. You have to do certain things yourself at the beginning, just because
you have to learn your lessons. You've got to learn.
That you don't have the money to pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing here. We're getting to the point. We're not like
We haven't blown up. We ain't
No,
huge yet, but we
no,
can
but
afford to hire
we're
help.
starting to hire a few more people just part time to help us out because I don't have time to do everything. I love to creating the content,
We
do the podcast,
prefer to do the things that really move the needle in the business. Being
yeah.
out there, creating content, reaching out to people, doing stuff like that.
Well,
For us, it doesn't make sense to sit there and input the bills and
no.
do all that.
Well, and then
We
just
don't need to be doing it. It's
creating
something.
websites and all that stuff. I'm not a professional.
No.
I spent a lot of time doing it, and I learned a lot, but I just wasted a lot of time than what I could have been doing other things.
Yeah. So there's just a little nugget of just business wisdom in general. As soon as you can pay somebody else to do things that you either don't enjoy or are not good at, do it. Okay.
I agree.
We did. We really got on a tangent there.
Yeah, we did.
I'm sorry. Well, back on track. Back to timeline, and then budget was one of the next most popular answers.
Yes.
This completely makes sense as well because how can you even know what to design or where to begin if you don't know what the budget is?
Yeah, this is like, to me, one of the top ones. The timeline and budget are like the top two questions you need to find out from every customer you're going to go out on.
Yeah.
It's just even if it's a past customer. I mean, we want to take care of past customers, but you need to find out a budget because I've wasted so much time going out and bidding like a water feature, and they want this big elaborate pond.
Well, everybody thinks they all got caviar dreams on a beer budget.
Yeah,
well, not all of them, but some of them do, and people don't realize how expensive it really is. It is not cheap.
Well, and like especially doing rehab work for landscape
Sure,
water
so it's
features.
twice the work.
Yeah, I got to move the rocks twice now, so people like just go crazy. So I always try to find out a budget, find out what they're thinking. If not, you could. There's multiple different ways out there. Doing like ranges of prices. Okay, well, over the phone. Well, in the past we've had customers want something similar from what you're describing me, and it's going to cost anywhere from 10 to 15,000 or whatever it is. Does it sound like something that fits your budget? And you can kind of listen to whether they gasp like, oh no, or
Should we talk about the difference between pre-qualifying and qualifying right now? Seems like a good point to maybe interject. Like you should have kind of a list of what I consider the pre-qualifying that you ask either like on the phone or upon that first initial contact.
To me, this timeline and budget are like ones you're doing pre-qualifying. So as soon as a customer calls you into your office, and you or whoever's answering the phone, there should be a list of pre-qualifying questions you're doing before you even step foot on that product.
Before you spend 1 ounce of energy on this.
Because you want to find out if you do those type of services that they need, or timeline's going to fit or budget's going to fit. And there's a few other questions, and those are going to do before, like I said, before you even step foot to that person's property. Then once you step foot on that person's property, then you can find a little bit more qualifying questions to see if they're going to be a good customer for you, and just everything works out, I guess. But there's a little bit of difference of pre-qualifying and qualifying. But today I think we're kind of focusing more on pre-qualifying, I guess.
When the question's out there, I generally think of pre-qualifying. That's what I think, but I'm not the one who does estimates. And so another great answer was, do you want to do the project all at once or in stages? And this can kind of go back to that budget, because if they throw out, they want all of these things, yet they want to spend $10,000, then you can perhaps help them break it up into stages. I talk about my sister on this podcast a lot. My older sister, she's the one with all the money. And this is what she has done at her house. So she's one of those where you always want to hook her in, because she's always got like 3 years of work planned out in her brain.
Yeah, and it's an easy way to break up a project and get it so it fits their budget, because if they want a $50,000 or $60,000 project, they maybe not be able to afford all that right away. So okay, let's do this section now, or let's build the outdoor kitchen this year and then add the bigger patio next year, or whatever it is, or work in the front and then do the side, then do the back, and the other side.
Find out their priorities, like what's most important to them, and start there.
Yeah, because we've done that. We've done that quite a few times, and it's a great way to keep that customer coming back every year, because then you could probably upsell them on things later on.
Absolutely. Let's see here. This was a good one. I think that maybe not a lot of people think about. Do they want a garden that furthers conservation and biodiversity, or will they be using invasive plants and a lot of chemicals? That's really a personalized thing, I think. And so I thought that was kind of a good question to ask, especially if you're speaking with a husband and wife who might have very different answers. Because if you talk to Scott and I, we have very different answers. Scott likes things very neat, tidy, landscaping. I like more of like cottage gardening. I like native plants, like where it's like one step away from being a mess. Like if it was just a little bit scragglier, it would look like weeds.
Yeah.
So we.
So well, it's a very good thing to find out because you.
I have maybe put native plants in our landscaping that then escaped and bounced everywhere, and
Oh yeah.
Scott's real thrilled with
Yeah,
me
it's
on
all
that.
over. It's a
Yes, the
mess.
so just FYI, don't put the native geraniums in your yard
Yeah,
because they will
still
get everywhere.
years later, we're still cleaning those up.
Well, they're not an invasive plant though. They're native. They're perhaps native aggressive. Okay.
They're very aggressive, yes. But no, it's a very important question to ask, and to find out, how they feel about chemicals or
Yeah, some people will not care one
Yeah.
bit about any use of chemicals. Other
Well,
people won't even want you putting down fertilizer.
yeah, well, we've had people that wanted gardens specifically for butterflies, so you have to choose plants that fit that.
Oh
So
yeah,
then
pollinator gardens are
Yeah.
very hot topic right now, especially with monarchs and everything.
so you just
and
have to,
bees.
yeah. So you just to find out these types of things and pull it out of them because they may not share it with you.
Yep. Let's see here. This is the same person that said, if not designed by us, are you willing to give us the creativity to replace invasive plants with native plants? I maybe pulled this comment because I have a background in ecology, and so I love that this person has natives on their minds. And so this just kind of goes back to, because some people do get a design from one person and have the install on another. So whether it's native plants or not, maybe be open to having that conversation of how much creative liberty do we have with the design, because I'm not going to rag on all landscape architects, but if you get a plan from a landscape architect, in my experience, there have been weird things in them sometimes because they don't always have the on the ground experience, and weird things have happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of us had some experience with that. And
Yeah.
not all of them, but there's quite a few that just don't.
Weird things have happened.
They put things in the wrong spots or
Yeah.
are too close to certain things, or they.
Yeah,
I don't
or
know.
like a plant that's complete, like everyone knows a blue spruce looks adorable right next to the corner of your house right now, but that thing's going to get ginormous.
Yeah.
So you can't plant a blue spruce 3 feet off the corner of your house and expect it to end well.
You mean the one that we cut at the front of our house?
We did. We moved into this house. We've been on, let's see, how long have we been rehabbing this house? 8 years.
Something.
We
like
moved
that.
into a 1939 house, and we've been rehabbing for years. But that's one of the things we did. That like when we first moved in, I'm sure our neighbors thought we were nuts because Scott shimmied up the tree with a chainsaw. We tied it off, and I was pulling the logs down. We're those neighbors.
Hey,
Anyway,
whatever.
not about us. So okay, let's see. This is that same comment. Are you willing to do a successional design? I thought that maybe meant just doing it in stages.
Yeah.
And is this for resale value or for personal enjoyment? That's actually a really thoughtful question as well. Because if you're just trying to sell your house, then you might not want to sink
Yeah.
as much money and as much like detail. I think you can do if you know this is for your forever home, you might have a different level of
Oh,
what you
if it's
want
going to be
there.
a forever home, then you can maybe plan out things in stages. So
Right.
it's important.
Okay. Let's see here.
So yeah, we're
Some-
just going through some of the questions.
Yeah, we're just.
on the
I'm
Facebook.
literally reading like the comments as they were laid out. Somebody replied, "What do you do? Like it's like what do you do when somebody doesn't know of their budget? Like if you ask them and they're either hesitant to tell you their number or they may not even have one in mind. Like they just wanted some tips on how you can do that.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it could be you kind of give them ranges, and there's pluses and minuses doing that because sometimes when you tell them, okay, this landscape's going to cost you between whatever, we'll just say 10 to 15,000, like we said earlier. The problem I have with that is because a lot of times they're already in their head, they think 15, or I'm sorry, 10,
10.
and you as the owner are thinking 15. So
That was the
that's
designer,
that's something to kind of consider. So if you give ranges, kind of keep them narrow, I guess, or
Or
what
bump
we've
your
done-
range up so
Yeah.
so the numbers that you give them that what you're coming in at is going to be at the bottom of the range.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I've heard to do, and I think it's a pretty good way doing it. I've heard one person say, kind of along the same lines, okay, are you looking to have, or we have designers that do $100,000 in designs. Is this something you're looking for? And they're like, oh no, it's too much. Okay, we have another designer that does, specializes in the $50,000 price range. Is that something? And you kind of work your way down, and that kind of is a good way to find things. I've heard other people say, where you kind of give them like something they can relate to, like a car. Okay, are you looking to spend something like a Toyota, or are you looking to spend something like a Porsche, or whatever, something along those lines. There's just different ways of doing it, but it's very important to find out a budget, and if they're not willing to do it, uh, depending on how they've talked to you, you may want to walk away from it because it's so important, and
Can't waste your time.
yeah. Everybody has a price. Everybody knows. Like nobody goes somewhere.
They know.
When they go to buy a car, you know how much you want to spend. You're not going to go in want to spend $30,000 and walk out with an $80,000 car, more than likely. But so they have an idea. So you just have to get it out of them.
Yeah. Okay. Another comment was just timeline, budget, vision, expectations. So that's nice as well. Setting expectations up front is a good idea.
Yeah. I kind of along those lines too is finding out if they've have worked with somebody in the past, and what was good, what was not good with them,
Good
and what
point.
you like. I think that's an important one.
Very good point. Somebody else said I qualified them at the meeting. I have upsold projects and sold projects the customer wasn't even considering by simply answering the phone and showing up. I like this question because one of the ways that we would upsell was adding in just a little water feature or something, because it might be something that the homeowner didn't even realize existed, that they could wiggle into their budget. Oh, okay, we're coming in, you've got, an extra $2,000, maybe we could put in just a little fountain or something.
Yeah,
So,
just a little bubbling rock is a nice thing to throw in here and there, and if they don't go for it, they don't go for it. But it's an easy thing to throw in a little project, or even some landscape lighting or something, just even a little small package, just something they don't consider at all.
Yep. Okay, another one was, I think, same kind of basic stuff. What type of service do you need? What's your budget? What's your time frame? Let's see. This comment talked about designs from other contractors as well, and consultation fee. I think that's a good thing. If you do have a consultation fee for even like showing up at their property when you're in those pre-qualifying stages, that's a good time to mention that.
No, absolutely, and tell them that you expect to be paid. When you arrive, like this is something
You
very
collect
important.
the payment for
Yeah.
that day.
Yep, right then and there. I'm not going to give you anything. And you can give an estimate over the phone, just a rough estimate. But if you actually want to design and actual consultation, it's going to cost you. I'll give you a rough estimate. It's going to cost you $10,000 to $15,000 for this project over the phone. Okay, that's fine. So if you want to design or a consultation, then okay, it's going to cost you whatever, $150 to $300, whatever it is. And that's something they need to be aware of, because that's going to scare off some people. If they really want it, then they'll pay for it. So.
Yeah, that's something that I really hope that the industry as a whole, like I don't know how you can't like make it a law or rule, but if all the owners band together and are like, for landscaping, if you want me to come out, there's gonna be a fee, because then there's always that one guy that's like, nope, I'm not gonna charge one.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, there's always gonna be people that's gonna come in, especially people coming in because they want the work. They're just gonna do it, and it is what it is. And
I think it might depend on how much, like what your level of work is, I guess, as well. Like maybe if it's like for mowing.
Yeah, I mean, if the project's going to be like $1,000, you're going to have a hard time getting somebody to pay you $100 just to give you a design or something like that.
Right. So I think there is maybe definitely a range in there, but once you get to a certain level, I don't know what that number is. Maybe like $5,000 jobs and up or something.
You need to look at how much time you're going to do on plan on this job. If you're going to do
and definitely if you give a design, like I would never give a design without collecting money for that design.
Oh, yeah. I've left with my own designs because they weren't going to pay me for anything, and they want to think about it. Okay, well, I'm taking the design with me. I'm sorry, I'm not leaving this design. If you like me to come back.
Yeah.
But this is something too. Like you need to set up a meeting with both, or anybody that has a say in this. You need to have a meeting with both of them.
Yes.
Whether it's
husband,
both
wife,
spouse, whatever it is.
When they want their mom's opinion, doesn't matter. Whoever's going to be having a say, have them all there.
Because it's going to be, we need to talk about it. Okay, that's fine, but I'm going to take this design with me. If you'd like to set another time, we can,
sure.
do a Zoom or whatever it is. But it's something to think about.
Sure. Okay, another person commented, get a general understanding of the project. Yep, that makes sense. Ask them how soon they're waiting or wanting to get it done. Yep, back to that timeline. What's their main reason for wanting this? I think that's a good question. Like somebody had mentioned previously? Are they going to sell the house? Is this like going to be their grand entertainment for a graduation party? Is it just for everyday use and entertaining the grandkids, whatever?
Well, this is a very good one because this one can be used to sell them on their project. So if they're big into entertainment, they want to have friends over all the time. Okay, then you can start describing when you get out to that project to talk to them about it. You can start describing, okay, envision all the family or whatever it is sitting around here, and then you got your fire pit over here. The kids are playing over
pacing,
here, and you can sell them on that with that. So that's a great information to have.
Yeah, and you can be like, and this is where you could throw in the extras as well if you want to upsell on a little water feature.
Yep.
Oh, what, you've got young grandkids? Kids love a bubbling rock.
Yep.
Literally they do. This isn't even like a lie. We have one in our front yard, and like strangers will have their kids are always like coming right up to it. I let them, I don't care. But we had one at our other house when our kids were small. We had to have it on a switch so we could turn it on and off like on a switch because I couldn't keep them out of it.
Yeah.
Literally couldn't keep them out of it. Kids love water. Well, safety as well. But anyway, that's just an example of something that you can offer. Another person said, what's the budget? Yep. Making sure, like we've said, make sure it's a realistic budget. So, another person, I like this comment, they asked about budget and they let people know that, okay, our jobs start at $10,000. And I think this is great because it's a really good feeling to know that you don't have to take everything that comes your way. If you don't do jobs that are that small, then just, and if it's not worth your time, just let them know up front. It's a good way to weed them out.
Yep.
And that's a great way to build a relationship with another landscaping company that does good work and would be happy to have that smaller job.
And that's key right there. So you're not just slam the door in their face when you say, okay, well, I'm sorry, this sounds like it's a little too small.
No, don't be snotty. We don't do things that small.
Yeah, no, and it's just the way you come across with it. But okay, no, but we have somebody that we highly recommend that can, probably get you in. So
sure.
And give them their numbers.
I have a couple. A couple
yeah.
names.
Yep.
So I thought that was a really good comment. Another one, I will tell them our time frame before we meet. We're 4 to 6 weeks out. Yes, and I really like that comment because once again, we've talked about time frame. And somebody commented that they just started doing this in 2021 and they have so much less stress now.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really helping people out to get that time frame question out there in the open right from the get-go.
Well, and this too, like you can tell them we do this ourselves. My mom, who answers the phone, tells them, okay, we are booked out 6 weeks right now. And that's kind of like the same thing this person said too, is it just cuts out a lot of people. But then also tell them too, like, okay, if it's going to need a design, we are also backed up on this. So this might be an extra 2 weeks before
you
we
could
can
be
get
backed
there.
up on your designs,
Yep,
depending on how many you've got on the desk as well.
Don't feel like you have to get out to every single job right away, especially right now with the influx of people wanting work done.
Everybody's wanting work done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the just being open and upfront about it. And just to tie into that a little bit more, and then be open and upfront as your project progresses. Even once you start the work, if you have to, for whatever reason, pull off the job for a few days, something comes up, the weather's weird, just make sure you're communicating that with your customer, because it seems very obvious to us, like, we get it. If it just poured rain for 3 days straight, you might not be able to come out and work because you'll just be mucking around mud. That's common sense to us. Homeowners will not think like that.
Nope.
They'll be like, it's not raining right now. Why aren't they here? So, yeah. And I think I've told the story too about my sister who was having work done, and she always calls me. She was having a deck done at this point, and she's like, I haven't heard from them. They haven't been here in a week. She's like, I'm just going to cut my losses. I think they've just ghosted me. I'm going to get somebody else. I'm like, girl, it's only been a week. I'm like, they're coming back out. I'm like, call them every day. You're going to have to be annoying. But that they did. They came back out and finished it. But yeah, she thought she hadn't heard from them for a week, that they had ghosted them. And it's unfortunate that I'm like, nah, they're going to come back out. It's unfortunate that I knew that they hadn't ghosted, that this was kind of common. So I don't want that to be.
Unfortunately, it is. But
yes.
Yeah. No, but this is a real good episode as far as
I thought these were all great comments, and I do want to share some of the answers. Of course, there's always people that like will put a little snark or something, but I actually loved these answers because these were the answers that, like, these are the things you want to say but you don't. So I wanted to read a couple of them just because I appreciated them. I thought they were hilarious. So somebody answered, do you actually plan on paying me? Of course, that's what you want to say, but you can't. Are you going to call me with really dumb questions? Because once again, we think they're dumb questions, but you have to just try and get out in front of the dumb questions. The longer you're in this biz, you will get a feel for the air quotes dumb questions that people ask. Once again,
Well,
it may seem dumb to you, but it's not dumb to them.
and on this
Some of
note,
them are just
though,
dumb, but
some of this stuff you can prevent yourself by having
yes.
like your sales process on your website, or pamphlet that you give out to them, or whatever it is.
Or just work
Answer.
on your sales skills. Just
Yep.
work this into your routine.
Yep.
You'll start to learn things that come up often. And sometimes you're just going to get like the weird question that makes no sense, and you'll just answer it with a smile and post it on Facebook when you get back in the truck, right? So, and this last one I loved. It says, "Are you going to stare at our crew out the window like a freak all day long?" I hate it when people watch me work. I absolutely hate it. As a female that has worked jobs where I've had to like run very large tractors, like pull huge mowers, use large pieces of equipment. I hate it when people just stop and blatantly stare. Like, it's weird.
Annoying. It's annoying.
It's weird.
Like, especially very bad when they grab a chair, a lawn chair, and then sit out there and just watch you the whole day. You're like, God.
I know.
Because you can't be like we always joke around, and you can't joke
It's
around.
just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You don't want to, because you might just be talking about your personal life,
Yeah.
or just like you said, just joking around and being goofy.
You
can't.
No, you can't do that, because then it just makes a day take forever. It seems like, but
Yeah.
it's always something you want to ask the person. There's going to be an extra fee just if you want to sit there and watch.
I wish you could charge, the entertainment fee,
Yes,
because
yes.
it's ridiculous, but you don't. So, but I think it's funny that you don't like being watched, because I'm just gonna. This is a husband and wife podcast, so you're gonna go right under the bus. Whenever we have any people out, like professionals, like we had to have some plumbing done on the outside of the house. You're up in it. I mean, you don't sit there and blatantly stare, but you're all up in their biz. You're checking their
I knew
work.
they were going to do it right.
Yeah. So sometimes you're your own worst customer. We had professional plumbers out, and he had to be all up in the biz, making sure they were doing it right.
But they weren't going to. I knew it. Because they told me
You're not a plumber.
No, but they weren't going to do it right, so I had to make sure they did it right.
I know. I'm just saying. Sometimes it's easy for us to say we don't like it, but then you go and do it. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Do what you got to do.
Anyway, that I just wanted to throw you under the bus just for fun.
We do want to give a little quick shout out to.
I forgot about that. It was so nice on Instagram. It was Scarlet Oak Landscaping. They commented that they are listening to the podcast, and so I just thought that was really nice. We love it when you guys comment and let us know that you're listening and you like the podcast, because I don't know if you've noticed my voice is a little nasally today. I don't feel the best, but when I know that people are listening and they look forward to hearing what we've got to say, it makes it easier to just like go ahead, and just do it, even if I feel like a big snotty wad of garbage.
No, it always feels weird. Like, I don't know, even after a couple of years of doing this podcast, it just seems weird to, like, people are listening to us and use our information. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, this is the whole point of it, but it just still feels
It is, but we're kind of guilty. I'm kind of guilty of just recording these and then, not that I forget about it, but then I just kind of move on with my day. And it's easy to record because it's just you and I talking back and forth. But I have had people, we were at a robotics tournament, and a guy recognized my voice, and he came up and was like, "I listen to your podcast." And I like froze. I didn't know what to say. I felt weird. I didn't know where to go. I'm like, "What? Oh, thank you," I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's always, but we enjoy it. We love hearing from people, like, that they're listening to it, and
if
what
you're
they're
getting
doing
value from
yes.
it, we love it. Please share the podcast with your other fellow landscaper friends, because that, like we said before, that is why we're here.
We actually went on to Apple iTunes the other day, or not iTunes, I guess it's a podcast, and looked at the reviews. Like, we haven't looked at them in a while, and it's like, we don't do it for all that stuff. We do it to help everyone, and seeing some of the reviews of what people are saying about
it's
it.
It's just really nice to feel appreciated. It was like a nice little belly rub. Yeah. So, nope, we do appreciate it, and thank you. Yep. Feel free to comment and let us know, like in Facebook or on Instagram anytime. Happy to shout you out and say thank you for listening. Please share it with your friends, because I think that helps like your rankings, right? If more people listen and share and comment. And
giving us reviews. We really appreciate
that.
Oh,
the reviews on iTunes, does that help too?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys wouldn't mind, head
love
over
us.
to iTunes.
Give us an awesome review. Yeah. We can get out there some more, and so we can keep just,
And we're always looking too. If anybody has any ideas for episodes or something they want to talk about,
Sure, drop a comment in the Facebook group or on Instagram. Let us know, or email us.
Yep. We'll sneak it in somewhere along the way.
Oh yeah, no, happy to always answer questions. So, all right, before we go, I've got Scott's pod deck questions for him
Let's
ready.
See what you got.
Okay, number one, if you were reincarnated as a famous landmark, which would it be?
Famous landmark?
I don't. Well,
What?
we're leaving for vacation in less than a week, and we're going to like iconic landmarks. We're going on the big trip out west. We're hitting Yellowstone. We're gonna hit Grand Tetons. We're going to South Dakota. Like so, that's got like
Mount
Crazy
Rushmore.
Horse, Mount Rushmore, Badlands. All of these like
Well, I mean,
natural landmarks.
I
Well,
guess
Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse are man-made, but
I haven't traveled a lot, so but just from what I have seen on the old TikToks and Instagram and all that stuff, I'd say
yes.
probably Glacier National Park.
Oh, you're so on Glacier.
Yeah,
We wanted to squeeze that into this trip, but that we just didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
We are going to go for 3 weeks, but we wanted to spend as much quality time in the parks that we are visiting as we could. We didn't want to feel
Yeah,
rushed, so
yeah.
that's why we're going to leave it to. Well, we're going to stop at like state parks and stuff on the way out,
Yeah.
in different states on the way there. Because we're in Indiana, so we'll be going through what is it, Iowa, Nebraska, then we'll hit Wyoming.
Yeah.
Hang out in Wyoming at Tetons and Yellowstone, and then we'll head over to South Dakota. We're not going to really stop too much on the way home because we have visited like Minnesota, Wisconsin. We've
Yeah, we've
done
been
stuff
to
there.
the
That's not too out of the realm for us. So anyway, going to be awesome. Going to be fun. Okay. Question number 2. What is something that you've never been able to do well?
something I've been able to do well. There's a lot to choose from there.
Just pick one.
Let's see. I've never been able to do any kind of instrument. I don't know.
You are not musical.
I'm very musically inclined at all. Like
Have you ever tried?
I did. I wanted to try the saxophone.
That's right.
When I was little.
But they made you do the clarinet
They made us
first.
do the clarinet, and I did not want to do that. I didn't like it.
Just
so-
short-lived.
Yep. I
Okay.
did it like during summer break or whatever, elementary school, and that was it. That was or whatever it was, junior high, whatever it was.
Yeah. All right. So no musical.
No.
Nothing musical for you. What would be the worst ingredients to fill a burrito with?
Liver.
Oh.
Yeah.
You eat liver sausage.
Yeah, but it doesn't taste the same as liver.
Like just straight out
Straight
liver.
It's
Yeah,
gross.
that's like liver and onions. Your parents
No,
are big
that's
on the
gross.
fried liver and onions.
It's gross.
Yeah. Well,
That'd probably be my number one thing.
I'll go with that because I don't even like liver sausage. Weirdo. It's too salty.
It's good.
Weirdo. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. I think we covered anything. So, I guess
Yeah.
we'll see you next time.
Yep. No,
Anything
appreciate
else?
everyone being here, and
Oh, while we are on vacation, Laura Reale of Landscape Marketing Secrets. If you haven't checked out her podcast, please go to Landscape Marketing Secrets and check her out. She's the marketing coach inside of our academy. So while we are on vacay, we've got Laura lined up. She's taken over the academy for the month. So if you've ever had any kind of marketing questions, wanted to really pick the brain of somebody who's not only specializes in marketing, but they also own a landscape business, ponds specifically, ponds, and I think like water management,
yeah.
stormwater management stuff. Anyway, hop on, get in the $1 Million Academy, and you can pick Laura's brain, or you can catch her in Monday nights in the Landscaping Business Owners Facebook group.
She always does lives every Monday night. I think
Yeah.
it's 8 Eastern time, I believe it
I
is.
think so.
But yeah, she's full of information, so take advantage of that. Ask her stuff. And that's
Bug
what she
the crap
does.
out of her
Yeah.
while we're gone. We're not gonna know, so we're gonna be on vacation. So bug her, and if you want more, in-depth help from her, join the academy. Like I said, she'll be taking over and just kind of, keeping the ship on course for us while we're gone.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today. Have a great day.